Welcome to the Through the Table podcast with Tom, Rick, Russ, JL, and Brock.
Welcome to the podcast. We have Tom, Rick, Brian, and the Professor Russ Weekland. We're all here and we're raring to go. What's our first topic for the night?
We might as well start with NXT topic here, where they're going to change up developmental and feature big guys, people under the age of 30, and it seems like people want Triple H out of creative, where they don't trust that he can do it anymore with all the problems where they didn't beat AEW. And it seems like it's John Laurinaitis and Bruce Pritchard that are running that. And it sounds like they don't want him to take over if something would happen to Vince. So it seems like there's a power play going on as well.
Yeah, apparently everybody's afraid of Vince dying, Triple H being the lead whistle, and then firing people like Laurinaitis, like Pritchard, like Kevin Dunn, possibly.
Right.
That's the one I've heard all along. That
he has his own crew down there of different people, like Gabe and Borash and other people down there, Shawn Michaels, that are all like his right-hand men now, not, the same people that Vince has. That's a whole different crew.
Right. That, I don't want to think about it, but that day when Vince McMahon passes on, it's going to be nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely nuts. And if they're preparing for it now, I mean, come on.
It seems like they are.
Well, he's looked horrible the last few times he's been on TV. I mean, He looks sickly.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard stories that he's still in the gym 6 hours a day, so maybe he's not as sickly as he looks, but he looks terrible.
He looks his age now, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he never sleeps too. I mean, if he had maybe a week of just sleep, then maybe those bags under his eyes would be a little better.
A week of sleep's probably more than he's had all year.
Right.
It's something I didn't think about. We're watching a power play unfold in front of us. I made the joke on the podcast a few times. Rush, you actually said it in the chat recently that there's going to be trouble at home between Trips and Steph, but I think what we're seeing is an actual power play between the old guard, Vince's yes men who've been in his ear, for 20, 30, 40 years, who don't know what's going to happen to them if Triple H takes over, and Triple H's people who, they're not the old guard. And it's funny, NXT thrived under Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that these people see that and realize, oh crap, we are in trouble. Our job's in jeopardy if Vince ever goes, because Triple H is going to get this and we're out. And, they've got so much of the old man's ear that you're seeing this play out where now Triple H is kind of teetering on the edge of getting released himself.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if
I don't think he'll get released, but he'll be maybe demoted down to getting a paycheck and not do anything else. It's obviously that it's more in-house than in Triple H's house. Stephanie, I mean, they've been married for a while, so who knows what those inner workings are. After you're married for a while, things change. But I think they're probably more good than bad. It's going to be interesting to see coming down the line, what's next, what's going to change, because Triple H is a lightning rod for fans, for people he works with, for everything. So it's just another test that he has to go through.
Thing I find crazy is the fact that NXT is probably the most watchable product that they have on TV. I mean, yeah, did it, I guess, technically not beat AEW, whatever. I mean, but it's still the most consistent show, the most entertaining show. And I mean, it's like, I don't know if people are just, conditioned to just turn on Monday Night Raw. I mean, because I'm kind of that way. You know what I mean? Just, I barely watch it, but it's on. And, but I feel like with Triple H in charge, maybe it wouldn't be that bad. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, his team seems like they're doing decent television. I mean, the ratings don't really show it, but nobody's, it's not 1999 anymore. No one's pulling 3s and 4s. Be happy with the million that you have.
Yeah, it's also timing and like what's cool. Like
Right.
if AEW started and NXT wasn't a thing, and then WWE was just kind of like, let's try this NXT thing, then I'm almost convinced that NXT would be, oh, this is the cool thing now, and AEW is cool, but this NXT thing's cool, real cool. And I think that's the problem now, is where NXT is cool, but now that with the pandemic and the changes, it's still fun, but it's not the same. And AEW is just like throwing everything at the wall. Some things work, some things don't work, and it's just like it's the cool new toy. It's the the TikTok while everybody else is on Instagram,
Right.
and everybody that's on Instagram is on Facebook. So it's just like that stupid thing of timing that just kind of screws things up.
If NXT goes back to what they're implying with the younger talent under 30, big giant bodybuilder, football player, athletes.
Yep.
Do they get rid of their show? Because I feel like
work.
Well, it's under USA has it for, they renewed it for 2 more seasons, but if it doesn't perform, I mean, they could stop it at any time.
Weren't they having that meeting tonight to determine what the next steps were, and if they didn't like what they heard, they were going to pull it?
They're very upset because they weren't told about any of these changes, and of course, all the recent changes were in NXT. There weren't any releases, and then all the other stuff that we've heard since then. They're talking with them tonight. I don't know what's going to happen, but I mean, it's very well they could pull it. I mean, you can cancel a show whenever you want.
There's a reason why Ohio Valley Wrestling was never really televised nationally.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to watch developmental.
Yep.
You just don't.
That's what I was getting at. Instead of OVW, that's what it was. Where I feel like NXT it was basically Triple H's view of like a Ring of Honor or you know what I mean,
Right.
like an indie fed.
That's how it was started. It was basically like their version of what the indies are. And that's why they were grabbing all the indie guys when they first started, because that's what they wanted to be. Here's the best of the best in the indies, basically.
Right.
So let's take a look at the real problem. So NXT starts out, it's a developmental, but it's a developmental that gets television time, gives these guys a chance to learn where the hard camera is, to learn where all the other cameras are,
Yep.
to sell to not just the audience in front of you, but the audience at home.
Right.
A lot of these guys develop, they get a nice following. Here's where the problem comes in. They get up to the main roster, and with the exception of a handful of guys, like say Seth Rollins and so forth,
Mhm.
their gimmicks have changed, or their name has changed, or they're not utilized the same way that they were. So you're developing somebody so you can use them in a different capacity.
Mhm.
That's not a true developmental. That is taking somebody from one promotion into another and changing who they are because they were somebody there that you can't use their trademarks.
Right.
It's like when Max Payne came in and they changed him to Man Mountain Rock.
Mhm.
Great
I don't
name.
know. It's fantastic. but that's why we all knew it was the same guy. But
Right.
yeah, and that's what it turned into. If it's going to be a true developmental, and you're pressing the reset button, and fine, whatever their reason for doing it, you want to go younger. I get the idea of going younger because if it's developmental, why do you have somebody who's in his 40s there? I'm not going to work in NXT. Why? By this point, if I don't have the skills to make it to the main roster, cut me. Obviously time's passed me by. So sign the younger kids. I get that. But if you're going to make it an actual developmental, when you create somebody that has a following, when you bring him to the main roster or her to the main roster, utilize them the same way you were utilizing them in NXT. Because if not, what did we just do for 2, 3, 4 years? What was the purpose of all of this? Vince, apparently the reason for this is they want to make more stars. They're having a hard time making stars. Well, there were stars being made in NXT. Guys like Keith Lee, who the second he gets up to the main roster, oh, by the way, he's a big guy too. That's another thing. They don't want the midgets anymore. They want the big guys. Well, Keith Lee's a big guy. And the second they brought him up to the roster, didn't utilize him. Andrade, another one. Aleister Black, who's now Malachi Black, another one. So many guys. Yeah, so many guys and girls that were big stars in NXT that they brought up and did absolutely nothing with. All that developmental was time wasted. WWE is still struggling to come up with that next big thing, the next big star, even though they had them. They had them on their roster and have since released them all. So what are they truly doing? What is the purpose right now?
It's that weird power struggle. It's the they have the NXT. It's working, maybe not to the ratings or to the liking of some, but I remember when they were starting 205 Live, I was excited for it, but then they killed that. So it kind of feels like, they're going to give the NXT the 205 Live treatment where it would be around, but then, you'll see good matches, but then I used to watch 205 Live every week after SmackDown constantly. Good, bad, ugly, whatever. And now I don't watch 205 Live. But the power struggle is the main concern. Everybody probably either had a job or currently has a job where there's somebody that just doesn't get it, but they have more power than you or whatever. And it's just like a toxic environment. And wrestling has to be one of the most toxic environments
For sure.
ever, and it shouldn't be. It doesn't have to be. Entertainment as a whole, I think, might have that problem, like working on red carpets or interviewing different people that I do. There's always this weird, stupid power struggle where everybody should just get everybody and then go on with your day and it's fine. But no, there's somebody at Entertainment Tonight that thinks that they're awesome and they're not, but then like momandpop.com is actually the awesome one and they're getting screwed on by these celebrities or whatever. So it's unfortunate, but it looks like it's here to stay.
Mary, Entertainment Tonight hasn't been cool since Mary Hart. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Come on. John Tesh, 316.
I need that t-shirt. We need to make that t-shirt.
And Joe can wear it.
When you look at like the people that are in charge, the Bruce Pritchard, Kevin Dunn, they're like, Kevin Dunn really, he's more just the TV guy. He's never really had a hand in wrestling, but like, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not too sure.
He's the director, producer. When you see the 8,000 cuts between in like a 2-second span, that's all Kevin Dunn's doing. Yep.
God, I hate that.
But I know, like Bruce Pritchard came up in like the Texas and stuff like that. He's got that old school wrestler, like brother, mentality. And it's just, it seems like a lot of the people that are in charge all have that mentality where it's just, like the flippy guys are killing the business, and all this stuff. Nobody tells a story anymore. Like,
Yep.
And at the same time, wrestling's changed. AEW proves that.
Right.
It's not just 70s, Carolinas, blood feuds and whatever. It's flips and super kicks and whatever. And so it's just like I feel like that's they're just keep trying to push the big lunkhead kind of stuff. They did that in the 2000s, like 2010ish, like they referred to it as the affliction era, with everyone in the medium t-shirts and just and it's I've been a wrestling fan for almost 40 years, and it's just that's probably the most forgettable time in wrestling. Was just all like all those guys. Great Khali was your champion. You know what I mean? Just
Never forget.
I try every day.
We all
You
love
mean
the
Hall of
Punjabi
Famer
prison
Great
matches.
Khali? Yeah, I believe you meant Hall of Famer Great Khali
Right.
was world champion.
So, Rick, to that point, on the main roster now, because obviously, these guys like Dunn and Pritchard want stories to be told. I try. I've said this before. I try on Monday nights. I really do, because it's still, 25, 26, whatever, how many years it's been every Monday night. It's such like a muscle memory thing for me to turn on USA Network on Mondays. And I try.
Mm-hmm.
And these matches don't seem to tell a story. There's nothing, especially when it's the same two guys in the ring every single week, or they're putting the same women in the ring, and it's the same thing. These matches don't tell a story. The purpose, if you're going to do that, if you're building a feud, the whole purpose is to build that feud, get us excited to see them finally collide. Or if you're going to have them in the ring, something's got to happen that makes me like, oh my God, the next time they get in, I got to see what happens. This is going to be amazing. We haven't seen any of that. And I haven't seen the storytelling. One of the things that WWE was so good with in these matches was the storytelling.
Right.
To be fair, though, can you really tell a good story in a minute and 45 seconds? Bell
Only
to
my
bell.
sexuality.
Well, yes and no, because yes, devil's advocate, a commercial's what, 20 seconds, 30 seconds? You can tell a good story. Super Bowl commercials are great. So but at the same time, if you're going to have Ricochet on for a minute and 45 seconds, that's not going to help him.
No.
So you're also right. Also, I think too, obviously the pandemic hasn't helped anything, especially wrestling. They've had to do other things to kind of figure this out. But at the end of the day, Vince needs his guys. And the last couple of years, what's happened? Everybody talked so fondly about Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes is gone. Everybody talked so fondly about Pat Patterson. Pat Patterson's gone. Briscoe's out of the company. Jim Ross is out of the company. So these other mainstays that have been taken away, the Laurinaitis of the world, the Pritchards of the world, now are back, and now it's like, oh, it's now finally our shot. Yeah. And they're different guys now, and they had many shots and have done right a lot, but now that they're back, they're trying to kick it to Triple H, kick it to all these people now that Pat Patterson is gone, and now all these people are gone. So it's should be interesting in the next few months, the next few WrestleManias, as we get out of the pandemic, to see what actually happens. And Vince is not getting younger. Shane is gone for the most part, so it's pretty crazy. And obviously, we have the AEW world. We have Cody as the Dusty now.
I gotta take umbrage with something that you said, and I feel like you're giving them a pass because of the pandemic. I understand that. If we were filming this podcast in April or May of 2020, I would sit here and I would nod my head and say 100% we're in new times.
Sure.
It is August 2021. We have done this for a year and a half. And yes, at the beginning, 100%. They are a company known for revolutionizing the business and being ahead of the curve.
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania 1 is the best example of that. If anybody can navigate through unprecedented times, it's Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
It was.
Thank you.
Exactly.
AEW had to navigate through the same pandemic waters that the WWE did. And AEW not only swam those waters, they did it in Michael Phelps-like fashion. Got out the other side completely clean and ready to go with the fans. WWE is still having terrible bookings, terrible stories, boring match after boring match, uninteresting storyline after uninteresting storyline. I get it. You're doing something in front of the TV screens. It's hard to work that way.
Sure.
We're a month in now. We are a month in front of the crowd, and it's still god awful and hard to watch. So I would agree with you a year ago, even if it was August of 2020, I would 100% agree with you on the pandemic situation. I'd like to think that somehow they would have figured it out by now, especially to be back in front of the crowd. And I just feel like the world is kind of passing them by, and it happens to us all.
Well, absolutely. But also they've kind of also been maybe bailed out isn't the word, because they still create. But like when it was the WCW days, they were doing a lot of things that were going to kill them. And then WCW came in, and then they just like luckily got The Rock, luckily got Austin, and just kind of and then recently they had Cena. So now it's like one of those moments now where it's just like they continue to try to possibly kill themselves, but like, is Roman Reigns going to be the next Cena? Is somebody going to be? Is there's going to be somebody that's going to give them that lifeboat again, or will AEW finally be the one that puts the sword through the heart?
I mean, you just said it. They've tried to kill themselves numerous times. They haven't, but every now and again, when you're playing Russian roulette, the bullet's going to reach the chamber.
I don't think AEW is going to destroy WWE at any point. I think the WWE is going to survive in some form or fashion, whether it be one show or 15 shows. But I don't think AEW, I think they need competition like the old WCW, because without someone saying, hey, I could stop you, or I'm trying to run you through, but which they're saying they're not trying to do. I don't think we're going to ever be without a WWE. We'll be without a Vince McMahon, obviously, but we won't. I think WWE is just one of those things that are going to keep going. Hopefully,
you know. And I hope you're right, and I think I hope you're right, and I think you're right. But it really, I hope that they figure it out. It's no time soon that they're gonna just collapse. But like 10 years from now, 10 years from now, maybe. But because just imagine, just like pit it to magazines. Who buys magazines anymore? You know, it's all online.
Right.
But there are magazines that still work because they've changed with the times. Who would ever thought like Playboy would not be a thing at all?
And I know you're going there.
No one knows about the Playboy Mansion. No one knows about Playboy.
Romeo Blue does.
Well, what happened, Russ? What happened though to that Playboy ended up declining? What was the first step of that?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of things, but I'll let you answer it.
Are you going
I know
Are
the
you
answer,
going
but
with
why
the
don't you tell
a
us?
WWE
But wait,
inclusion?
no, but on that, I'll answer that. But also too, who had the opportunity to be Netflix, Blockbuster, and they said, you know what, that's stupid to stream. That we're gonna have these stores forever. Guess what? They don't. You make one stupid move, and it ruins a legacy.
Marge Simpson.
Yeah. Exactly.
This when Marge Simpson was in Playboy, that's when it just tanked.
I mean, I was thinking, and I've been sitting here trying to rack my head about the Howard. I don't know why I said Howard, but Hef. I couldn't remember his name for life of me. When he died, when he finally died, that was it. And
That was the mystique of Playboy.
And they kept it running for a little while after it, and finally it was just like this is just not, it's a shell of its former self. But that's where we could be at with the WWE if Vince McMahon dies without a contingency plan, because that was Hef's biggest problem, was he didn't have a contingency plan for Playboy after he died. So if the WWE, if Vince McMahon dies without a contingency plan, and right now it looks like everybody, it's like every man for themselves trying to find some sort of power play on this.
Got some throats.
Yeah. So if he ends up, say he dies tomorrow, maybe we have a WWE for another few months, but what is it?
Right.
And how long does it last?
Right.
The only other thing that would change it would be is if they do sell it to someone else, they can drastically change it majorly. And it, that's the only other way that it could say end anytime in the next few years. Either of those two scenarios.
Disney wants it. And usually what Disney wants, Disney's going to get. And Disney wants a wrestling show. They don't want just any wrestling show. They want the best wrestling show.
Sure. Why wouldn't you?
So, yeah. So if they sell to Disney, holy God, like that thing's going to be on forever.
Right.
Well, some form of it. It's probably going to be completely different than what you're used to, though, I bet.
Yeah.
The product's going to be terrible.
Totally different.
Yeah. If you think the PG era is bad, the
Disney era. Expect more Dewdrop and the doll scenarios to come out if Disney's in charge.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
If Disney gets it, you'll get like an amazing restaurant. You'll get amazing like roller coaster.
The promotion for it would be awesome.
Right. And what about the actual wrestling part?
They don't care about that part.
They really don't.
No, they won't.
I think what would happen, what would happen would be you'd get the Mandalorian, and you'd be like, oh, okay.
So it'll turn into like a 22 episode season then.
Right, and there will be seasons, and there will be situations where it will be cool, and then there will be situations where something will come out, and then you'll just be like, "Oh, that's kind of stupid." But
I see a lot of that.
Yeah.
I could definitely see seasons of things, for sure. But everything, I mean, the circus is not even like Barn Bailey Circus is no more. Like all these like iconic things, whether they're meant to stay around or not, aren't around or get clipped. So
sure, no, I hear you.
It's just hard to believe because it's something that's been around since we were all kids, and they survived an unnecessary war. By the way, I'll say that again. Those two needed each other, and they just wanted to hurt each other. But they survived an unnecessary war, and you think at that point this is going to go on forever. You could see where it was going to go to either Shane or to Trips and Steph, and now you look at it and it's like 100% it's going to go to Disney or something like that, and great. I can't wait to go to Disney World and go to the WWE section of Disney World. That's going to be fantastic. I bet you they have a ring set up and you can get in. I can
have Steve Austin walking around.
Exactly. Maybe he'll give me a stunner. It'll be great. I can suplex my kid in the ring. This is going to be fantastic. We're going to have a great time. But all they want is the intellectual property. That's all they care about. And the wrestling, which, by the way, now I feel like the wrestling is an afterthought in a lot of ways.
What they always do is Disney always said, or not just Disney, but whenever a situation is bought out, they're always going to say it's going to be business as usual. There's nothing going to change, and then progressively, it's going to change.
It always does.
It has to.
It always does. Yeah,
they're not going to put that much money into it. Once they see the numbers out there, they're going to go, "Why are we on the road at all?" They'll have it out of one house probably.
Yeah, they're going to build
Everything
their
out
own
of one
arena
place.
on Disney property.
Mm-hmm.
Just like WCW used to run Saturday and Sundays.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's it.
And you
Live
can
from
see
Universal
maybe
Studios.
once a quarter, like maybe a 10 or 12 a road trip around like they do, go to LA and New York and Boston and Houston, but that'd be about it. You
Hit
won't
the
see
major
shows
They'll
in
have,
like
or like a band, they'll have a summer tour.
probably
Watch it on TV, and then in the
Yep.
summer,
right.
Summer tour.
That makes
watch-
sense. Good luck if you live in Green Bay, you probably will never see them live again.
Yep. Or Idaho or Iowa.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I mean,
anywhere
look.
small, they're not going to go.
Think about this. It took Major League Baseball 140 years to get to Iowa.
Yep,
How long is it going to take the WWE if Disney owns it?
to go back. Right.
they're
And
not
what they do-
They're not building a Field of Dreams ring.
Well,
No.
just wait. We haven't gotten to SmackDown yet. What if Disney does buy them out and makes Triple H with the stock and Stephanie billionaire a couple times over, and they start their own thing?
I
with
could see
Shane?
that.
Yeah.
Shane doesn't want anything to do with being in charge of running anything. He already turned it down. Supposedly
Yeah.
Vince wanted him to be in charge once he was out of the business, and he said no. That's
Yeah, I
why
don't
he
think-
left years ago.
I think Triple H, when he's done, is going to be with the new WWE
Hmm.
as something. I think. I wouldn't think he would start his own show. I don't think so.
If you're paying him $1 billion and it turns into a prodigy of what it was, I could see him do something. He's going to be billionaire times over. Why not? If he wants to go back to what he's doing now, I could so see it. How many guys are going to stick around with them? I don't see a lot of guys sticking around if it's just,
Like all the billionaires that are already there.
Triple H will team up with Gabe Sapolsky and start like.
well, you'll have like 10 or 12
2.0.
guys. You won't need any more than that.
And
Yeah.
also too, didn't think of this, but a very likely thing too would be if Disney were to buy it, it would be Roman Reigns against Luke Skywalker, or Roman
Oh,
Reigns
geez.
against
You're
Loki,
probably right. Mhm.
or something like that. They'll bring in somebody to,
Mhm.
or the actor that plays Captain America or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have a match.
Robert
with
Downey
Sheamus.
Jr. will fight someone at WrestleMania.
I can't wait for Brock Lesnar versus the Mandalorian.
But I see what Rick
But
is
see-
saying. Like all of Triple H's guys, he's got that whole crew in charge. If he's got $1 billion, I could totally see him running something on his own.
I was going to say, didn't WWE already try that with the current regime with Peacock people? Universal with
What?
Scooby Doo and Jetsons and
The
Flintstones.
zombies.
Yeah, for cartoons and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like it's
But
not.
it wasn't. That's
not
not.
unfamiliar
That wasn't like a
territory.
permanent thing, though.
Yeah. It wasn't like when WCW had the Demon.
Or RoboCop.
Yeah. But the Demon was more of a permanent thing because he actually worked a few weeks.
Right.
True.
And I should have put worked in quotations.
That's all right. I hear what you're saying. I remember when we were still before the fans came back, and we heard all those rumors of the WWE had this master plan to get people back. Everything was going to be completely different. I haven't seen anything about that yet.
They've had to cancel shows.
Mm-hmm.
They've had to
What's
cancel
been different?
shows
Nothing.
because no one's buying tickets. And you can't sit there and say, oh, the Delta variant, things like, no,
No.
because look, I was at the beach today. No one gave a crap about the Delta variant. If it's a place you want to go to, you're going to go. If it's something you want, I was at the Sox game yesterday. Nobody cared about that. If you want to be there, if it's something that makes you say, I've got to go, you're going to go. And if it isn't, why are you going to leave the couch?
Sure. I mean, look at all the UFC shows, AEW, they're all selling out. If everyone was getting no fans, it'd be one thing, but everyone else is selling well.
Didn't the PWG show sell out?
Oh, yeah.
Does anybody know?
Yep.
Yeah.
I know
That's about 1,500 at most, which is still a big deal. But
900 standing room only tickets sold. So
but
they
it's
were
still like just like
over
GCW
2,000
when
in that building.
it's still
But
GCW.
yeah, it's about $100 a ticket too, so
Yeah,
that
we-
adds up real quick.
Mhm.
Here's something I take into consideration when it's something's coming around. I'm like, oh, do I want to go to that? You sit real hard and you think, if I go to this, I can't change the channel when I'm bored.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But if I sit at home and this is boring, there's a million other things I could watch or other things I can do in my home
Sure.
instead of watching this boring product.
Mhm.
But everybody has their personal channel changer in their hands.
Well, it's true. However, I didn't pay $56 including fees to play on my phone.
Right.
That doesn't stop people at all.
No, it doesn't.
How
You
many
figure-
people you see at that Red Sox game yesterday? Probably paid $300 for a seat, and they're just sitting there, hammered with their phone in their hand, not even watching the game.
I've been
All
to
day
games where
long.
I've heard people try to talk about Red Sox history as if they know the facts and they have zero idea.
Oh, it's completely wrong. Oh, yeah.
It's
Uh-huh.
so wrong. And I'm just sitting there like, all right, do I say something? No. Then by the 8th inning, if they're still there, because usually they leave by the 6th, that's when I'm finally like, look, this.
Yeah. Right.
What's the next topic?
Well, I brought it up earlier about Dewdrop and the puppet. I think we had to talk about that a little bit.
Did anyone see it other than myself?
I saw it.
I saw it on
I haven't
YouTube
seen
after
it
you
yet.
mentioned it.
I haven't seen it yet.
I don't know what it is, so
So
Explain
Dewdrop-
it a little bit.
Dewdrop was wrestling Alexa Bliss on Monday. And Alexa came out with the puppet or whatever it is, Lily,
Hmm.
and puts it on the turnbuckle. So the match is a couple minutes, 5 minutes maybe.
Not even.
And at one point, Dewdrop gets thrown into the buckle, or she runs up to the turnbuckle with the doll on it.
Right.
They zoom to the Titantron where there's the worst superimposed picture I've ever seen of the doll, and it winks. And like
What?
you hear like this, you hear this
Yep.
little like bing, like it, and then the crowd instantly crapped on it.
Oh, they
And
did.
then they zoom to Dewdrop. Dewdrop scared. Alexa rolls her up for the 3 count, and that's how the match ended.
that sounds
And-
awful.
And
It was
wanted to
terrible.
headbutt my television.
It sounds bad. You should actually watch it.
Yeah, it's
Seeing it's 10 times worse than the explanation. It really,
It's
it was
so
horrible.
bad. That's the one advantage of Disney buying WWE. If they do, is that whole scene would have been filmed a lot better,
Oh, yeah.
a lot better effects.
Like you know,
Full CGI.
And Mickey Mouse would be a better heel too.
Right. Right.
I mean, I've always thought it was ridiculous when they did the Undertaker, the
Yeah.
lightning would come down,
Hmm.
but like nobody in the arena obviously saw the lightning.
Right.
But it's like I would take that over a winking doll any day. That was just
Yeah.
I watched it. It was just I was so angry afterwards. I was like, they just think we're stupid.
Uh-huh.
What's
You know-
weird about it, Rick, is that the film quality of those Undertaker scenes was so much better. And you're talking like 20 something years ago compared to now. You think the technology would be better?
Yeah.
This looked like, honestly, like we
I
did
just
this
watched
in
it without sound.
Okay. So what did you think?
Without sound, I mean, it's stupid, but it's not. It's not bad. I don't know what the commentators are saying.
They sold it
Michael
like
Cole.
it was
Oh,
it was the creepiest.
Yeah.
Like we're all dead. Like it like the like we just watched the Ring video and we have 7 days. Like I was furious. Like it was
My God!
Awful.
My
On mute, it's all right.
No.
Rick, what was worse, that or the zombies causing the Miz to lose? That's a tough question.
It's terrible. Both are terrible.
I forgot about the zombies.
I mean, the zombies were terrible. Especially considering they ate John Morrison and then he just came back being all moist. So like, it's just, I'll go with zombies, but
they did their purpose. I mean, if you're gonna make John Morrison moist, then here's to more zombies. America's Most Wanted is needed, and the ECW zombie. That
was the best zombie of them all.
I look back fondly to the ECW zombie.
Oh yeah,
I just
Didn't he die?
He did.
He did.
Yeah.
He's no
'Cause
longer
they would
with us.
for sure
It's-
brought him
now
back.
he's a real zombie.
Yeah,
Or he's
yeah.
a real fake zombie. Fake real.
Yeah, it was awful.
He's a
But
fake real zombie.
yeah, it was awful, but remembered fondly years later.
And people are still crapping on AEW for doing the basketball bit. Like they're like, oh, the Elite Squad is terrible, and it's like, at least it isn't a puppet or whatever.
I mean, that like
Right.
AEW has a lot of things that they should get kind of not bashed for, but like I mean, an exploding
given
ring
a-
that doesn't explode.
Well,
But,
yeah,
I mean, if
Well,
you're
they
gonna
got enough on that.
yeah, if you're gonna wear a Space Jam shirt, that's fine. People are just trying to cancel everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I mean, there's, you not even Jim Cornette, but I've heard Twitter and stuff like that. It's like some of the stuff that the AEW does, it's killing the business. It's you would never see WWE do that, and then they have a
a
goddamn
doll.
puppet.
Yeah,
And it's just. It's not even a puppet. Yeah, it's a doll. Like at least with like the whole Bray Wyatt thing, like those were puppets. You know what I mean?
Sure.
There was obviously, I guess supposed to be people controlling those puppets at some,
or
but it's like
demons.
this is just we're just expected to believe like Alexa Bliss is now just like a poltergeist or whatever, and just everything's cool.
Yeah.
Get some of that Ryan Cabrera controlling puppets.
Wow.
There's an edit.
There's that dead air right there. For about 10 seconds of dead air, Tom.
I did it when no one else was talking though, so Brian can easily just take it and condense it.
Awesome.
Obviously, stuff like that can work. I mean, when Papa Sean goes like going like this, and then
Making
Ultimate
the warrior.
Warrior's head explodes. That's all right.
Puking pea soup.
Yeah,
Right.
that I'm all right with that. But yeah, for every 2 or 3 of those, you get a blinking doll. Like, I mean, maybe next week Lily will do something really awesome. So I've
Lily's
watched
gonna
it.
turn into a person.
She stood up the week before.
She's still better than the Lily from AT&T.
Oh,
Yep.
Slow down.
I like this.
Let's not say anything we can't take back.
Oh, I'm not taking that back.
Oh,
I like
Hashtag
that.
hell with Lily from AT&T.
she was fantastic in her one scene of Californication.
Oh, I don't know if I've
didn't see that
seen
movie.
It was in the last season. So good.
Oh, it's a season. So
Oh, I'm even worse off.
No.
Must be on like HBO or something.
Showtime. And
Yep.
it's over. It's been over for like 7 years, I think.
Oh, sure. No, I don't get cable, so I wouldn't have seen it.
See, now it's all on you, Tom. I
Well, I
blame
enjoyed the
you.
I do it to somehow watch Heels on Stars. I'm not sure how that's going to work yet.
Same.
I have
They
to figure
canceled my
out.
stars.
Oh no, really?
Yeah. But yet my price went up.
Of course it does. It never goes down.
Has anyone seen it yet?
No.
It's-
I saw
well,
the- I
Dave,
saw the
well, you
first-
saw it. You got the
Yeah, I saw
sneak
the
peek of it.
first-
It doesn't start till Sunday, I believe.
Yeah, so I saw the first episode, and there's 8 episodes in total, I believe, for the first season.
Sounds about right.
And I have access to see all of them.
Well,
But
you need to spread that around.
Oh,
Where's the love?
I'll edit
no,
that out.
I
hold on. You
can't.
might Might want to stop recording so that way he can tell us he can't.
I'll edit that out.
More seconds of silence.
Tom, swear, quick.
Everybody,
Shit.
everybody come over to my place and we'll watch it together.
Might just take you up on that.
But the first episode was good. And the way it ended, the way the first episode ended, I didn't see coming. So I'm eager to see what else happens. And CM Punk is also apparently in the third episode, and his character is supposed to be really, really good.
I heard he's going to be at a private screening of episode 3 in Chicago, and that's why he can't be at AEW that week.
Right,
Yes.
because it happens 2.5 hours before the show starts.
Right.
So there's no way I could.
There's no way.
I could actually drive
not
like
a
a
way.
third of a mile away. He could walk.
Yeah, I mean,
at
Chicago
distance.
traffic is weird, and I
It is bad.
remember being in Orlando at the Hardy Party. I'll say that again, the
Wow,
Hardy Party.
The Hardy Party.
And then I had to leave to go to WrestleMania, and then the Hardys were there, and it was amazing.
So weird. How could that be?
Huh. Weird.
They were at a party.
That was less than a mile away.
Well, he made sure they made the AMC's like almost on the other side of town. He purposely had to like probably look that one up.
Yeah.
Is there an AEW helicopter?
They're not even, but the thing is that AMC, they're not even promote. I guess there's no promotion.
For the third
It's
one.
not happening.
There's no.
They're not doing a one. It's
no
a private
funky party.
screening at Rampage before the show starts. That's where it is. Miro bought a studio, for it. It's Miro's always bringing the guys out to see all the movies early all the time. He's getting them to
You
get
can
the
rent
copy of
out.
it.
You can rent out a theater for like $100.
Yep.
It's a great deal.
I guess he does all the time for the big movies when they're on the road now.
That's smart. That's a
Mhm.
good idea.
Why not? It's always
Yeah,
early too.
So speaking of AEW, some Impact titles are being defended this week, huh?
Correct.
Yeah, the tag belts on Wednesday and
Yep,
tonight.
they defended them on Wednesday, and the Good Brothers had won. And then, of course, tonight, Christian gets the match against Omega for the Impact title.
So they're doing Christian Omega tonight for the Impact title, and then at All Out they're doing Christian Omega for the AEW title.
Yeah.
We assume so.
I mean, I feel like something, they're not going to give away
No.
technically their main event for their pay-per-view.
Right.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
that might change.
That's not. I don't believe that's going to be the match that Omega has.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I was reading today, Adam Page is taking time off.
He started his time off. Yep.
He's gonna be at a Stars.
His wife is due on Tuesday.
Oh, she was pregnant.
She's almost
Oh.
done. She's due on Tuesday. That's why he's
Oh,
off
okay.
he's off for the next month. That's why they did that injury angle so he could be out for about a month.
Oh, I see.
Moxley had his time off. Cody had his time off. They all had between 3 and 4 weeks off. So that's why they did what they did.
So I'm also hearing that Okada is in America right now.
He is. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's almost all signs point to that. It looks like. I mean, just what else
Why
could
not?
it be? Like I said, I can't see them doing Christian Omega twice in 3 weeks, once on free television.
You're not going to hot shot, say, Punk or Daniel Bryan wrestling him, a few days
No,
after
not
they
yet,
get there.
no.
That just doesn't
Right.
make any sense.
Unless Christian wins the world title and they do title for title at All Out. Like, that's the only way I would see it being done.
But if
And Christian has to win.
but isn't one of them wrestling Brian Myers in between that, or is that
The thing, it's after. So what Diamore was on commentary plugging the winner was going to be at Impact this coming week, and promoting the match for Friday and all that. And then so whoever wins is going to be there on Friday. Brian Myers on Impact this week won the Battle Royal, so he gets the next shot. That show is on the 20th.
You think he takes the belt?
I don't believe so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
This week, I think.
Unless Christian does win. If Christian wins, who knows what's going to happen. But if Omega does, I can't see Brian Myers beating Omega for it.
I heard that on another podcast today. If they could possibly see Christian winning, just because like there's the Myers versus Christian, you could have Myers win,
and then they get the belt back.
There's that they got the belt back, but there's like that little connection with like Edge.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's true.
So they're familiar with each other.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yep.
So
but
I mean, at the same time, it's you think about it. What better way to kick off a brand new show with the title change? And it's a world title change. It doesn't have to be your world title,
right?
But it's just a world title.
When they specifically said the Impact Championship is on the line, you go, oh, okay,
They're not saying the AEW. They're specifically going out of their way to say the Impact title.
Right.
So that makes me think there's going to be a title change. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but.
And they said there's going to be a couple surprises tonight as well.
It's a pretty stacked show, right? It's all three title matches, if I'm not mistaken.
Miro against Fuego del Sol, and if Fuego wins, he gets a contract.
That's your boy, Rick.
I don't know if it's a title match. Is it a title match? Did they say it was for the title, or if it's just for the contract?
All title matches tonight.
Lily from AT&T is going to be there.
Britt Baker against Red Velvet, and supposedly Britt Baker's new personal helpers could be debuting tonight.
Oh, the
Iconics.
Very possibly. She said a couple weeks ago that she needed more people to be there because she keeps getting attacked by everybody. And if you notice, Red Velvet got in there this past week, right at the end of her interview there. It makes sense that somebody. What's that?
I said I didn't understand that. Isn't Red Velvet the face of this?
Yeah.
I mean, I know.
Well, I'm saying she jumped her at Dynamite.
Right. No, I know, but I'm just.
That was a heel move.
Right, that's a heel move. Why, that's just the one thing I feel like with AEW.
Britt Baker's in her hometown, so she's not going to get booed no matter what. So they play up to that. That's all that was.
But she's been slowly turning face, since that match with Thunder Rosa. You know what I mean? Because
Proud love.
Even though she's made of glass.
Well, a lot of people are, unfortunately, nowadays.
A very poignant line.
I mean, that's what we're talking about. Samoa Joe made of glass pretty much because he's always hurt all the time. I mean, there's so many people nowadays, but of course, it's not just an armbar and a headlock for 25 minutes.
Right.
There's a lot of power moves.
Anybody else watch the announcement for the NWA Power Show pay-per-view?
Nope.
Can't say that.
Or am I the only one?
You're probably the only one.
What was the announcement?
The announcement, but I saw what the announcement.
They announced the whole lineup for the men's, or not the men's, I guess the regular pay-per-view, because there's a women's one the night before. They didn't announce that one. It was just the men or the other.
No.
Was it
Billy Corgan announced all the men's, or the normal other, not normal,
right? The normal NWA, not in Power.
So, the world title is going to be defended again against
Trevor Murdoch. Right?
Nick Aldis. What?
Trevor Murdoch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Trevor Murdoch, and he went around telling people it was for his retirement, belt versus retirement match, and they didn't say that today, so maybe that's coming up on Power.
I can't believe Trevor Murdoch is in the main event of anything.
2 pay-per-views in a row. Not just 1, 2 pay-per-views in a row.
The lowest NWA pay-per-view and the second lowest NWA pay-per-view.
Wasn't that the last one that sold literally? It was 6 buys.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yep.
What we do in the shadows.
The rest of the card doesn't help at all.
No, James Storm is going for the national title, which is the Masters Chris Master piece.
Adonis, you mean?
Adonis, whatever his name is. So, and then there's now finish this sentence. There's going to be a battle royal. It's for a number 1 contender shot. It's 12 people for the.
Well, you already told me, so I can't answer that.
I told you.
TV title,
Wrong.
US title,
National.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
national title. Like they're doing on the pay-per-view a number one contenders tournament for the national title.
Is
Or
James
Battle
Storm
Royal,
in it
whatever.
since he already has the match?
He might be. How? I don't know. They just said
did
12
they not announce
competitors.
who was in it?
Nope. They just said it was
okay.
going to be a thing. Maybe Willie Mack will be in it now that they're friends with Impact again.
He could return.
Yeah. There's a couple other matches, but I don't remember them.
Okay.
That's how much they hit me hard.
You think anybody like usually with battle royals or Royal Rumbles or whatever, there's always a few surprise entrants. Do you think anybody from AEW or Impact or any,
Some of the release guys.
I could see
Yeah.
Impact or release
Yeah.
guys, yeah.
I see that too.
I don't think AEW, but you never know. I mean, they could have some of their guys that are on Darker Elevation show up.
Yeah, you gotta do something.
Wasn't Danny like Joey Janela maybe,
Joey Janela would be a star.
or Marco superstar stunt for them?
Fuego del F face?
Hey, he could be TNT champion by the end of the night.
The heel Joey Janela.
Oh, he is now. He turned on poor Sonny Kiss
He called out Tom on his promo, I think.
and Rick.
Good.
Ricochet's calling out Tom.
What is he?
I
gonna
want a
do?
flippy flop
Flip on
match
me?
right now.
I'll just step aside and watch him fall. Come do a flip on me, buddy. It's good.
What was it that I think it was the NWA where I was watching it, where someone was doing a Vader bomb and they were so far off the landing that they didn't even need to, like, the person didn't have to move, but did anyway. But it was so like to the right and the person rolled to the left that they were at like complete opposite sides of the ring. It was the weirdest thing. I know my NWA knowledge is awesome. You don't have to tell me. I'm a huge fan.
We can jump back to our Impact topic there, where last night Deonna Purrazzo had an interview and she called out Tony Khan, saying that she demands that she be on Dynamite to face some real challenge from the AEW women if he has got basically the balls to do it.
So what we're gonna do, Thunder Rosa? Like,
Oh, she already did Thunder Rosa, so it
That
obviously
was
would have to
such
beat someone else.
yeah. How about
This shows you at least they're trying to get a little more with everyone working together, which isn't a bad thing.
I think I just read something. Serena Deeb's,
She just got cleared again.
right? So I wouldn't mind seeing Deonna versus Serena
That'd be a good match.
on AEW, whatever television,
You put it on either one, right?
preferably AEW because I don't watch Impact. So
Well, she said she wants it on Dynamite, so I assume it would be for Dynamite. I mean, look at next week. They stacked the card again for next week, which kind of surprised me, where they're doing the fifth labor next week, where I thought it would be at All Out, but they're actually doing it at Dynamite next week.
Which means
I thought they were gonna drag that out
They could.
with a contract signing and a
There's
threat.
some rumors of that. He's not allowed to use his finish there, the Judas effect, but he's still going to do it anyway. So he gets disqualified. So there's no real winner. And that Jericho is going to put his career on the line at All Out. That's a lot of the rumors I've been hearing today. So they're still probably going to do the match. I don't know if they're going to go with that or not. Sometimes when things like that leak out, they change things.
That hurts.
I don't think it's necessary to do it.
I don't believe so. There's going to be so much stuff at All Out. You don't really need to have that on the show. You're
Right.
better off to do it next week. And then the other one is Sting's first match on TV in 20 years on TNT.
That's when Ric Flair will make the appearance.
I guess he has to sit out the 30 days because he got released. So he can't be on until September 1st or something like that.
You
That's
should
what they
wrestle
were saying.
Sting and then
I don't.
There's like
Oh God,
Nitro.
I don't want Flair to wrestle. No way.
No way.
No. I don't care
He's
if he
getting ready.
if he lifted weights. Big deal.
Flair has some muscles in his flex.
My dad lifts weights. Vince McMahon lifts weights. Do I want to see them get in the ring? Hell no. God,
against each other.
my dad
The only-
can't stand up straight sometimes. I don't want him getting in the ring. Jesus.
The only ring I wanted to see Ric Flair in is those Car Shield commercials. But that's it. Just
Right. He can come in the ring and do an interview and strut and take bumps, but don't work a match. No way. Mm-mm. Then the other thing that they're doing tomorrow is the Triplemania pay-per-view. Omega's defending against Andrade for the AAA title is on the line. So
is that on YouTube again, or is that?
I guess they got rid of their Twitch channel, so they're not doing it on Twitch, but I guess you can watch it through their Facebook or TikTok, apparently.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Why is everybody getting rid of their Twitch channels? That's weird.
They signed a brand new TV deal with Azteca America, and they want to be their basically home for like everything now. But because that isn't available in the US, they have to give them a way to do it. I guess they got rid of their Twitch channel because they have their own, but it's only available in Mexico. So unfortunately, US gets screwed over in that part. But Omega's fighting Andrade. Is Omega going to drop 2 titles in 2 nights where he hasn't been pinned in over a year? That's strange.
I mean, weren't we saying that on the pod a few shows ago? Like once it's going to just start. Be like
I'm curious if this is the start of things. Say he loses tonight, you have an out for him to lose tomorrow. You really do.
The only thing with that is I feel like he's going to lose tonight and tomorrow, and then if what I think is going to happen and Okada comes out, he beats Okada.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously I don't see Okada winning the AEW title.
Or Punk comes out and beats him.
Not at this moment if he can't travel back and forth.
Right.
He could lose tonight and tomorrow, and then come out and be like, I'm the best in the world. I can't lose these matches. And then CM Punk comes out and says, I'm the best in the world. Beats him for the AEW championship. Live from the United
poor Hangman
Center.
gets screwed again.
Right.
That's the long plays. I think Hangman should have been the first one to pin him after all this time.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think if you don't see a title change tonight, you're not going to see one tomorrow. If you do have one tonight, it's not going to be anything where Omega gets pinned clean from a finish. It'd have to be like something strange, someone showing up almost. Big screw job kind of ending, which they don't like to do much, but they almost have to at that point.
Right.
And he could drop the belt tomorrow and no one would talk about it because they barely acknowledge AAA. So it's kind of like that one you can almost just be like, whatever.
Right. He could just stop showing up with it. You stop mentioning it and that's it.
Right. Because the common fan probably wouldn't. What's that? He's had it since last year. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay.
I mean, I know it's kind of a heel thing to do, but do you think you have like Brian Myers come out, cost Kenny the match, knowing that like an older Christian is probably a better chance of losing to Myers than Kenny?
If I was him, I would definitely do that. Because the match is a week away almost, so I'm like, why wouldn't you try to, if you're going to go up, you're battling 2 people for whatever it is, you're always going to take the weaker link if you have a choice.
Right.
It's like, like baseball or football or whatever. Do you want to place the best team or you want to play the worst team? Of course, everyone's going to pick the worst team to play. Playoff spots on the line. Do I want 0-15 Jets or do I want, the undefeated Buccaneers? You know who you're going to take to get in there.
Well, it was like in 2004 when everyone said the Red Sox have to play the Yankees to get to the World Series. No, I didn't want that. It's what ended up happening, but I didn't want that.
Right. Take the worst team, please. Yes, thank you.
Are the Orioles available instead?
Right. I mean, if you get a choice, why would you pick the best? You'd be stupid.
Right.
Sports.
Jail for us.
Yeah, but as you were saying, Okada's in town. The Resurgence show tomorrow in LA. It seems like a whole bunch of New Japan guys are here.
Is there any word on who Mox's partner is supposed to be?
Not yet.
That's pretty tight-lipped. They haven't really, nothing's leaked about that usually there's some semblance of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is Okada booked for that show?
Nope, he's not booked yet.
So,
Haven't
I
heard
mean,
anything.
I guess could it be Okada?
It could be. It's possible. I mean, they've said Callahan, Kingston. I
hope
mean,
it's not Callahan.
they're saying
It's not
it.
King.
I don't believe it would be, but you never know who.
I would hate New Japan if they started booking Sammy Callahan. That's just
well, people are saying it that I don't see it happening.
right.
But you know, who's it going to be is the question. It's open. They still haven't said. I mean, his tag partner there, what's his name? Shimoda or something. Shimoda. He's in like Great Britain on a tour or something, so he can't be at Shudo.
Oh, shoot, Umino.
Yeah, he tags with him in
the young
Japan,
boy?
and everyone's like, "Oh, it's going to be him," but he's on excursion in England. He can't leave,
Potato.
so it definitely isn't going to be him. And then you got Tanahashi's already fighting Archer, and Ishii's fighting Moose. So it's like, you know, it could be someone else and another American, but I don't know, you know, which, like Tama Tonga's not on there, but that would make sense to have him by himself with them.
Right.
Like, I don't know who he's going to pick, really. It's interesting to see. All the New Japan Strong guys seem to be in like basically 2 matches, and everything else is featuring all the other guys from Japan, you know. So, I mean, I don't know who else is there. I know like most of Los Ingobernables is over there still, and a lot of like what they call the dads are still over there on their tours.
Right.
But besides them, there's not a whole lot of guys that stayed there. I think Goto stayed over. He's not on the tour, but like Okada wasn't booked. You know, obviously Tanahashi wasn't booked. Ishii, a couple of other semi-major names aren't booked either on the show that's happening tomorrow. So I mean, you'd figure if they're bringing them over, why not? How hard is it to give one more airline flight, you know?
Right.
It could be Kota. He's not on the show either. He's not booked on either one, so who knows? I guess he's over his illness, so he's available.
What would be more of a bigger pop? Would it be Okada or Kota versus Kenny? I feel like it would have to be Kota, right?
Kota, I would think so. Mm-hmm.
At this,
Just because of
point in time.
their relationship together.
Right.
I mean, Okada, either way in AEW, you're going to get a huge pop, but Kota would kind of make more sense. But I'll take either guy. I wouldn't care.
Right.
I mean, if Kenny's going over him, which one's easier to get over him? Probably Kota could take the fall more than Okada would want to take the fall.
Right.
I don't know.
I say they beat
Depends
Kota all
on
the time. So
It also depends on, I guess it's going to air live on New Japan World, so everyone gets to see it live over there. And
oh really?
Yep. If you want to watch it,
Resurgence?
yep. If you want to watch it, you have to watch it on New Japan World. But the only problem is it's just a Japanese commentary because Fight has the English commentary. So you'd have to spend $20 to have the English version, or you can wait 24 hours and it'll be up. But
Probably just wait the 24 hours.
you know, who's the next
What
opponent?
show's on Access still?
They never did the live stuff on Access though. Well, they did a couple of the
once.
US. They did the US shows. That's right. When Jay White got pushed in the Ross and he started losing it, I remember that.
Josh Barnett almost killed him.
But it all depends on who they have scheduled to be like the next big opponent for the big belt. Because Kota was supposed to fight him, but he had got the ammonia there when he had his shot. So does he get the next shot at Sinjo or not? You know, if he does, you probably aren't going to have him get pinned if he's at All Out. Because I don't think their next big show's until like the end of September.
The baseball stadium shows,
right?
right?
I think isn't it like the end of September, I believe? So
I thought it was the beginning,
was it the beginning?
but I mean that's All Out, so maybe it is the end.
I'm not sure. If it is, I don't know. I don't think they've announced the lineup or anything yet. Good question. I don't know that.
It's just kind of crazy how just
Actually, it's August 29th.
oh, okay.
So yeah, but they don't have any card up yet because I think their like show leading into it's like this weekend. So whoever would be there for All Out, you'd have to keep one guy back, I guess.
Right. So I guess it depends on who's not on those
Right, because
baseball shows.
As I was telling you in a presser earlier today, Tanahashi basically called out Mox and said he wants Mox. Mox called him out, so it looks like that's probably going to happen at All Out.
Right.
So it'd be
Because,
one other guy they could keep around, but at least one of those would probably fight Sinjo at that big show. I don't know who it would be though. I would guess probably Kota. So it could be Okada that sticks around for a few weeks.
As I said, yeah, basically, I guess it'll be a trade. Whoever shows up at the baseball show won't be at All Out.
Right.
So I mean,
yeah.
So Kota, it's either Kota or Okada.
I mean, you could, but traveling back and forth again would be kind of difficult. Especially if you want any lead in for, at Dynamite or Rampage that week, they'd be flying 18 hours and maybe get there on time, but probably not.
Right.
So you'd figure somebody's just going to stick around unless they just go somewhere totally different. I don't know who they would go with if they don't. So I think Jungle Boy is one of the top contenders. You just saw that a couple months ago, and Omega beat him pretty handily. I mean, he's not ready yet. It doesn't look like I don't know who else they would have up there. I don't think Hamian's out for a couple more weeks. I mean, that's obviously who you'd want, but it's probably not going to happen.
I guess you could do Kazarian if you're in a pinch.
If you're in a pinch, sure.
But I don't know.
Yep. No, it'll all play out.
Apparently, Apollo Crews is no longer Intercontinental Champion.
What?
Who beat him?
Looks like Shinsuke did.
Wow.
King Shinsuke.
Interesting.
I actually forgot SmackDown was on until like 2 minutes ago when I saw something that said live SmackDown results. And I was like, oh, wait, today's Friday.
SmackDown is war.
Wait a minute. Calm that down. SmackDown has Roman Reigns, so that's about it.
Hey, they took out Thunder.
We're going to go.
Oh, you all love Roman Reigns. Should we ask who the Juventud wrestler of the week is?
I think we need to know.
Have we waited long enough to tease it out?
We haven't teased it enough. So last week,
fans have been clamoring. It's time.
It's the Juventud wrestler of the week.
Juventud who?
Juventud Guerrera.
Yes.
Yes, the man.
GCW superstar?
Former ECW superstar.
No, GCW. He did so well on Dynamite that they booked him for like 5 shows.
Oh, really? GCW?
Did they watch the same match we all did?
Apparently not, because the first match he's in is against Super Crazy.
Well,
It's older than him. Yeah.
It's GCW. We gotta
And
give
his
it
second match is against Too Cold Scorpio. So that tells you what they're thinking about.
I'm sorry, Flash Funk.
I want to see Hoovy
so
versus
funky.
Matt Cardona for the GCW.
Movie Engage.
I think Matt Cardona is going to definitely defend the title against Hornswoggle.
Well, he's defending it at the next LA
That'd be
show.
great.
Or
Yeah,
Vegas.
but
He's
it's-
at the Vegas show, and next week actually is when he's defending it.
Yeah, but it's against an opponent of his choosing.
Well, you
Is
knew it
there
was
a
going to be
show
that.
during SummerSlam weekend for GCW?
Mhm.
Oh, I might have to go.
I'm not sure where it's in though. Like where the location is actually for
They
it.
usually have like Sam's Town for all the which
They're
is
kind of
right.
strange. They go to like some really small places sometimes.
I'll have to check out. I'll have to check that all out. August 20th. Yeah, August 20th.
So just from this discussion, the superstar of the week, Juventud Guerrero Award winner, it's got to be the doll.
Wow.
I'm calling it. I'm calling it because she came alive and blinked. It's got to be her.
Undefeated.
Wow.
What was the worst part about that? Rick, maybe you could help me out. Was it the doll or was it Dewdrop's horrendous selling of the wink?
It was everything. Just everything
It was
about that
Drop.
wanted me to I just want to stab my eye out.
Dewdrop like stopped and looked at the doll as if she let a fart out but wasn't 100% convinced that it was just only a fart.
Probably Kevin Dunn on there telling her how to react.
React like you just had an almost accident.
It's at some place called Meet Las Vegas, Russ.
Yeah, I'm looking at that now. It's on Friday, which is great because I'm gonna be out there on Thursday. They're doing like a
Are you gonna
training
be live on location?
live on
Oh.
location. So on Thursday, they're doing some training camp situation at the MGM. I'm not sure exactly what's going down with that. And then Friday is going to be your press conference. It'll probably have Cena
Yeah,
there,
right.
probably have Roman Reigns, and just kind of like
You should try to interview one of them in your car.
I think
Russ
that's a great idea.
Russ in the car.
Well, I was going to say,
I
we
think
need,
what
we
they're
need
gonna
to send
have
him
is
for
they're
the LA show tomorrow. Have him go interview the New Japan guys in his car.
I would
Come into
have
my
to.
car.
I would have to tomorrow.
I think you gotta bring him onto the podcast. We have our first ever guest.
Exactly.
Just tell him you need an interview, and then we set up the Zoom in your car. Bring him in. Here we all are.
Yeah, I'll
I'll
send the Zoom
I'll
account
ask,
so we can
I'll
all.
ask Tanahashi if he remembers taking a picture with me in Lowell.
Show him the picture.
That will be the first question.
Do you remember Rick?
Yeah, so like that Friday morning, so GCW figured it out to have it on Friday night
Yep.
when it's when people will actually go and see it. So it says 4th Street, so that might be downtown. That might be Old Vegas.
I don't know. I've never been to Vegas.
Yeah, welcome. I've been to Vegas.
I think it's,
Knowing GCW, it's probably like at the cheapest place they could possibly afford. You know what I mean? Like just
it has to be down to in Old Vegas.
I think that's what Rick said.
it's near the Bunny Ranch.
It's in the Bunny Ranch.
Let's see. It's
Yeah, it's downtown.
near the pawn shop.
Okay, so
It's
yeah,
on the same street. It's right off of South Vegas Boulevard, apparently. Downtown,
downtown.
East Fremont's right next to it as well. Fremont Street Experience, Grand Hotel and Casino.
Huh.
It's like right next to them.
I'll have to go.
All right.
Tickets
are reasonable, 35 to 65.
They're not too bad, no.
Yeah, for
How do they charge like different tiers when everything's standing room
Say that,
only?
Emily.
It's I
Right.
think the first 2 rows and then everything else is GA.
Yeah. So Russ, you
I
don't
like how you. I
don't
like
buy
how you
a
have
full
to pay
ticket.
more.
Russ.
What's
Oh,
that?
don't
said-
what?
I said I like how you have to pay more to get hit by like shards of glass
Yeah.
and like
It's like going to a Gallagher show.
Death match or like what's the card? I have to pull this all up.
I don't know. I have it
Oh,
right
yeah.
here. Matt Cardona defends against someone of his choosing.
definitely it's not Swaggle.
MDK's fighting for
Oh.
H. I guess it's just a 6-man. I didn't know if it was, that's where you'll get all the weapons in it. Scorpio versus Chris Bay. Effie against Ricky Morton. So you'll see one half of the Rock and Roll Express.
Wow.
Hoovy will be there, Dark Sheik, AJ Gray, and the Ninja.
All right, I'm down.
Bring your baby.
Bring a
Bring the
baby?
intern.
Bring the intern? I don't know.
Yeah, bring the intern. Kids love wrestling. They love just superstars.
Kids love
They
glass.
love tubes.
They
Oh,
love glass and
did
light
you freeze?
tubes and tacks.
Their favorite stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody
They
freezes.
love it. Explosions.
It's been freezing off and on here. I think it's because it's about 306 degrees in this room.
Yeah, mine too.
Tom looks quite hot.
I am dying.
You can see the glistening sweat on you.
I'm gonna zip up my sweatshirt, guys.
And it's like
The
it's like
sauna.
20 below zero, or Rick is, so you know.
I don't think I've stopped sweating since yesterday.
Put my hood on.
Oh, it's been that hot. Yeah, I don't blame you.
Oh, if I open this door right here, it's like sweltering. But
Don't open the door.
Oh yeah.
Is there anybody else running down in Vegas this weekend coming up or not? I don't
I
know.
don't think so. I haven't heard anything.
Usually there's a few.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I haven't
there
heard
must be
much.
Something or signings or something.
Mhm.
Well, that Saturday is the Manny Pacquiao fight, so there's a lot going down.
Right.
As the intern will tell you,
So
The intern doesn't want to see it.
intern wants nothing to do with Manny Pacquiao.
Don't blame
next Saturday is the Pacquiao fight too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So SummerSlam is going up against the Pacquiao
They're
fight.
gonna start
One's
before,
at
and they're
5, right?
Yeah, well, the fight will be the main fight will be late. So they were talking about if people have tickets to both, that they'd still be able to get to
Okay.
MGM in time to see
Right.
the Pacquiao
Gotcha.
fight.
Yeah.
Because he'd start at like 9 and the show
Sure.
would end at 8 or something like that.
Yep.
So they're gonna probably monitor the pay-per-view from SummerSlam and
Yeah.
dictate from there.
That makes sense. It's near each other, right? Is it at like MGM Grand or something?
It's near if you were to do a straight line, but like it'd probably be at least like a half hour to get from point to point.
Oh, okay.
But if you were like to cross the street, it would take you like 5-10 minutes, but that's like impossible.
Right. Sure. Oh, okay. It's at the big arena there, T-Mobile.
I'm looking more forward to the NXT pay-per-view than
It is close. though.
SummerSlam.
And that's the next night. And that's unfortunately at the back in Orlando still.
Performance Center.
Yep.
That
Kinda
could be the last night that NXT is NXT.
I was gonna say I really
That's what
feel
I'm
like
thinking.
they're gonna just go guns blazing.
'Cause
I
they-
mean, I kind of feel like that's why they put Walter and Elia on the show. Just, I mean,
could be.
I'm sure you saw that match from was it last year or earlier this year,
Mhm.
and it was insane. So
Yeah.
but I kind of feel like, they even had, Triple H and Shawn Michaels like on NXT TV being like, you guys need to see this match. Like, I feel like that's their kind of like their middle finger to be like, all right,
Well, it's going to be the last show of the last show of this group, because even if they let Triple H stay in charge, they're bringing somebody in from Vince's crew there of the Pritchard and John Laurinaitis. Somebody's coming in to kind of help
Clean it up.
oversee the change or whatever they're going to change. Even if Triple H says, no, you're still creative, it has to go through now. It's not just going to be him running it as he wants anymore. That next show there, that Wednesday one or Tuesday show, is going to be quite interesting to see after the pay-per-view, because they're kind of letting Triple H run it to that date without any say. So I guess that was what the meeting was on before Tuesday's live show was, we're going to let you go to Takeover, and then we'll start making our changes after.
It's kind of like
The last show of the this era of TNA, or TNA, geez, NXT.
But like, just even when you look at you hear the rumors or whatever, and it's like, oh, they're going back to the big guys.
Yep.
It's like, just even look at this last round of releases though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was 13 people released, and you probably put them all on a scale, and
Yep.
you might have 1,000 pounds. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what it was. They were all less than. I mean, with the exception of Bronson Reed.
Right.
Like Leon Ruff's probably 135 pounds.
Probably smaller than Mysterio, which is hard to do.
Anthony Green, he's like,
oh, he was $175.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just like all those guys
Most
that were
them,
recently released.
Mm-hmm.
They're just all these just little dudes that, I mean, and it's kind of like what I was saying earlier. It's just, unfortunately, the business is changing. You're not going to have, giant like monsters and, just that's what it is. It's all the acrobats and flip flops, as Tom would say.
Wrestling changes over the years. You can't go back to the old era if there's just not enough people that do it anymore. I mean,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Vince is obsessed with that Odyssey Jones guy now. Like, that's his like next big obsession. That and that kid there that looks like Brock Lesnar, Parker Boudreaux, whatever.
Yeah.
He was a security guard this week. They're going to be pushing him like crazy probably soon because they see him as a big boy,
Right.
Like, you could see it. Like, I don't know if you heard the thing about Wheeler, Utah, what he was saying this week or not. I guess he was at one of the last Performance Center camps, and Triple H and all the guys were saying, hands down, you should have a contract, but we can't give it to you because we're going a different direction now. And that's why he's not with NXT. The contract was in hand if they were allowed to, but they were told they couldn't sign him.
Right.
That's why AEW picked him up, because he's, 5'10", 185 pounds. That's not what they're looking for anymore.
Right.
And I guess Bronson was cut because one of his dark matches on Raw, he had a screw up in it. And I guess Vince was furious about it. Kind of like when Keith Lee needed to go back to train because he doesn't know how to wrestle. You need to go back to the Performance Center and learn how to wrestle. It's kind of like,
I love that. It's like,
because they make one mistake,
right?
Like,
I mean, at least they didn't. Nobody else has ever blown out both of their quads trying to get into a wrestling ring.
Right.
Triple H.
Yeah, I guess.
I remember Vince. What was that? 05 Rumble with the slide in the ring. It was like,
he blew him out. He couldn't get him in. Yeah, he just kind of sat there in the corner. Yep. That was great.
Yelling at somebody. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But yeah, I mean, it's. I guess they also said today that 205 Live is changing again. That now you don't actually have to be 205 anymore to be on the show.
It's going to 275 Live
because Gacy and Briggs are in the main event tonight again. They're doing big guys again, so
right.
They're way over 205. So now they won't always be 205. Why the hell do you have it called 205 then? Just change the name.
I mean, Odyssey Jones was on it the other day.
Yep, he's been on it 2 weeks in a row. Briggs was on it the week before, so now 4 weeks in a row they've had one match where the guys are way over 205.
And they're billing Odyssey Jones at what, 405? I think they said
four something, yeah, over 4. Yep. I think he's close to like 380, but you know how they like to stretch stuff. Like Andre was 575 at the end there. I mean, maybe he was, but could have been 400 and they said 500,
You believed it though.
Oh yeah, sure.
You believed it.
If you're 7'2", 7'4" is not a stretch, or 7'5" is not a stretch.
Well, it's like the Undertaker. He may be 6'10", and they always said he was 7.
He's 7 feet exact, yeah. And then you have a 7 foot guy, and they're like, "Oh, he's only 7'1". It's like, that's bigger than 1 inch. No, it's not.
Like when Diesel was always billed as 7 feet.
Well, they put the lifts in his boots. That's why he couldn't walk around, so he could be 7 feet tall.
Well, then he liked to tear quads too.
And that's why they did that with Kane too, where they put the lifts in his boots and then realized you can't wrestle with those things in there. All right, go ahead, take them out. We'll just say you're 7 feet. No one will know.
Just ask the Goon.
He may have had lifts in his boots. I don't know.
Who, the Goon?
Yeah, that's his actual foot shape. All right.
All right.
Well, I have to go.
Oh, well, I guess the rest of us do too then.
No, you don't. I'm just saying.
Good night from the JL show. No, just kidding.
Oh, come on.
The Hoopy 2 jail show. We're done.
I guess we're signing off. Jail's gonna go.
What?
All right, guys, I had fun.
Yeah, I'll see you in a little bit.
What, like 15 minutes?
No, like after
2 weeks.
You just
Next
said
Friday.
Well, I don't know what we're doing for next week yet. Well, that'll have to be talked about after.
Yeah, you guys talk about it. I'll just show up.
We'll talk about it. Don't worry.
And I'll start another show.
Yeah, just do another show. Okay, it's all good.
All right, give us an ending and I'll pop this in later.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. And from myself, Brian, Rick, Tom, and of course, the Professor, Russ Weekland.
And the intern.
And the intern that's with him. This has been Through the... Oh. Through the Table podcast.
Oh, man.
And take two.
You want me to do a take two?
We'll use take one, but take two.
Okay.
That's fine. You can go. You got it.
Okay, thanks. I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Through the Table podcast with Tom, Rick, Russ, JL, and Brian. Catch us on Twitter and Facebook. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Till next time.